The morning my wife looked me in the eyes and said, "From now on, if you want breakfast money, you'll have to beg me for it." She expected me to argue. She expected me to cry. She expected me to apologize. Instead, I smiled, quietly, because she had absolutely no idea what I had done the night before. She thought she controlled my life. By the end of that week, she was the one begging for a second chance. My name is Andrew. I'm 58 years old. For nearly 25 years, I believed my marriage was built on love, trust, and partnership. I worked 12-hour shifts as an electrical contractor. Every paycheck went straight into our joint account. My wife, Jennifer, insisted she should manage the finances because she was better with money. I trusted her completely. Every bill, every investment, every bank account. She handled it all. Whenever I needed cash, I'd simply ask. At first, she'd smile. Then things slowly changed. "Do you really need that? You're spending too much. You should learn to budget." I laughed it off. I thought she was being responsible. I had no idea she was slowly turning money into power. One Saturday morning, I wanted to grab breakfast with an old friend. I asked Jennifer if she could transfer me $40. She looked at me with a smirk, then said words I'll never forget. "If you want breakfast money, you'll have to ask nicely." I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She crossed her arms. "Actually, I think you should beg." The room fell silent. After everything I'd worked for, everything I'd sacrificed, my own wife wanted me to beg for $40. I didn't yell. I didn't slam the table. I simply smiled. "Okay." Then I walked out of the room. She laughed behind me. She thought she'd won. What she didn't know was that I'd spent the previous month quietly investigating our finances. The strange bank statements, missing savings, unexplained transfers. Something had never felt right. The next Monday, I met with a financial advisor. Together, we uncovered the truth. Jennifer had secretly opened multiple personal investment accounts. Over 7 years, she had transferred hundreds of thousands of dollars from our joint savings. Money I believed was funding our retirement. Instead, she'd been building a separate financial life without telling me. Some transfers were disguised as household expenses. Others were labeled as investment fees. Everything looked legitimate, until someone examined the details. My attorney reviewed every document, then calmly said, "You have every legal right to protect yourself." That afternoon, I quietly opened a new bank account, updated my payroll information, separated my future income, and documented every financial record. I didn't touch a penny that wasn't legally mine. I simply stopped allowing my earnings to disappear. 3 days later, Jennifer called me at work. "Andrew?" My card was declined. I calmly answered. "That's strange." She sounded panicked. "The joint account isn't receiving deposits," I replied. "That's because my paycheck now goes into my personal account." Silence for nearly 10 seconds. Then came the anger. "You can't do that," I answered calmly. "I already did." That evening, she demanded I change everything back. Instead, I placed a thick folder on the kitchen table. Bank statements, transfer records, investment accounts, every hidden transaction, color-coded, organized, undeniable. Her face lost all color. "I can explain. I quietly interrupted. "No, I've listened for 25 years. Now it's your turn." She broke down crying. She admitted she'd become obsessed with financial security. She feared I'd someday leave her, so she secretly built her own safety net. But somewhere along the way, security became control. Control became manipulation, and manipulation became emotional abuse. I didn't file for divorce that night. Instead, I suggested something unexpected: marriage counseling, financial counseling, complete transparency, separate personal spending accounts, joint retirement planning. Either we rebuilt our marriage with honesty, or we ended it with respect. For months, the process wasn't easy. Trust rarely returns overnight, but something slowly changed. Jennifer stopped seeing money as power and started seeing it as responsibility. 1 year later, she handed me a small envelope. Inside was $40. Attached was a handwritten note: "Breakfast is on me. No begging required." We both laughed, not because everything had been forgotten, but because both of us finally understood something important. Love should never require permission. Respect should never come with conditions. And no marriage can survive when one person controls the other's dignity. Today, we still share breakfast every Saturday morning. Only now, neither of us reaches for control. We simply reach for each other's hands. Real strength isn't proving you have power over someone. It's making sure they never feel powerless beside you. Money can build houses, but only trust can build a home. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone Who believes respect is worth more than any bank account?